To scale a creator business, it's far more than just putting a good piece of content on the internet.
Madi, when did you start working with brands?
Oh gosh, this is actually a fun question because my mom is my talent manager. I accidentally went viral and I was like, oh my God, I don't know what to do with this. So I originally went to my mom and I was like, hey, like I'm getting a DM from this brand and they want to give me like $10 for video. And she was like, are you insane? $10? And at the time she didn't manage anyone. So I think I was in high school, a freshman year, and then we kind of just like joined forces, and she started from there, and now she represents a ton of people as well as me. But yeah, I started working with big brands probably 6 months into social media because it did blow up pretty quickly.
And what do those partnerships look like for you?
Ooh, I mean, I've worked with a lot of brands, from like McDonald's to, I don't know, like travel agencies to beauty brands. So it's kind of, everything's completely different. Because, you know, it's like you can go on a brand trip or you can post a TikTok or a YouTube video. So it's really, really different. So it's kind of difficult to answer that question. Mm-hmm. But yeah, just like a bunch of posts. And then obviously if you have a good connection with the brand afterwards, it'll just keep coming and keep coming.
And I think that speaks very well to the industry where all of these partnerships can look very different. Avani, you've been creating content for 10 years. When did you start working with brands, and have you seen an evolution in the way that brands approach you for partnerships?
At the beginning, for at least 5 years, I didn't work with brands. I would say I went from 10K to like 100K, and I was stuck at that for a while, but I didn't do any brand deals or was reached out to. And then after I had a viral video of makeup, immediately after it shot up. But I was lucky in the time of that going viral because not that many people were on social media. So it was just people watching stuff but not posting as well. So then the deals were just rolling in like crazy. And then Madi saw that video and sent it to her mom, and then now her mom is my talent manager. So yeah, so it's very nice.
I made her move into my house.
I lived with Madi for like a year because I was living in Indiana at the time. So I was traveling back and forth for deals. It could either be like what Madi was saying is like it can be flights and like a paid hotel, but then you're posting for the brand, or it's like they do like the deals or like ads where they actually pay you. And nowadays it's a little different. I feel like brands do more posting for like hotels and flights and clothes instead of like actually paying. And I see that like big in the creator world. So that's when you see people post online, or creators post online, that they're not making that much money other than revenue on videos. It's because you're getting free clothes and you're getting all the free items, but you're not getting the actual thing that can, you know, keep you living out like where you are.
And are you willing to work with a brand for flights or clothes instead of being paid?
We are right now. So yes.
I would definitely say yes. I'm sponsored by Spirit Airlines. So for me, it really all depends on the relationship. I know whenever I have to fly somewhere that I can count on them to fly me, my family, my friends to whatever I'm doing. I just recently did my music video for my new song, and I had friends fly in with Spirit Airlines for my music video. So I know it depends because I want to work with brands that I know I can count on at all times.
Well, I think it also depends on if you're getting, you know, both. Or if you're getting money some other way because you need money to live. Like it's a little crazy to just have only accept those kinds of deals, but I feel like there is a good mix of them. Like with us, like we usually take all of them because it's really good if it's a like first brand that you haven't worked with before. It's good because they take building relationships with them seriously. Because then maybe in 2 years, and they're like, okay, here's a flat out deal. Like we're gonna pay you this much, and you just do this for that. But before it starts, usually with like posting the makeup or like posting the clothes, just to see how like you post it authentically.
Khalil, how about you? How are you making money?
So I make money in a few different ways, and I always tell anyone who wants to become a content creator that they have to, at some point, turn the creative into a business, understand what they can offer to brands and to different companies, and understand how they can best communicate that and where they're getting revenue from. So if someone were just starting out, I think maybe taking a deal for less than the average standard rate. Maybe I think most influencers probably make anywhere from 1K to multiple thousands of dollars per post. When you're starting out, it might not be like that. And I would say to them, don't take too many opportunities where they aren't paying you, because it can get sort of like a hamster wheel where they're just asking for free favors. There's a legitimacy you want to build up in the beginning, but at some point, I think we all, I think as creators, have to take that stand, because the content creator economy is sustaining off of clout in those moments of working with a cool brand as opposed to money, which is an issue. So for me, the main way that I make money is through brand deals. I also do speaking at schools. I'm on a TV show on Nickelodeon called Nick News. And I'm working on a book. So hopefully that sells out and that makes a lot of money. But I think that diversification is a part of me intentionally thinking about, okay, I'm gonna do this as a business. If whatever platform gets banned next year in America and I can't use that, then what can I do to continue to somehow bring in revenue? And that's a question I think every content creator has to play in their head.
Absolutely, and we're certainly seeing a lot of content creators diversifying their revenue streams. John, how about you? I know we were talking before about all the different platforms. With so many options out there, how do you decide what to prioritize, both in terms of platforms and revenue streams?
Well, I think that maybe for folks that don't necessarily know exactly how you get paid when you become a creator, the basic way it works, let's just take YouTube, for example, just because it's one of the more normally monetized platforms. It's been doing it for a long time. Let's say you have a video that goes big on YouTube, and let's say that video is monetized. YouTube they'll pay you. It's called AdSense. They pay you money that it's basically just based on ads on your video, but it's not a sponsored post. You're not like saying, hey, I'm here representing this company, go buy the product. It's independent of you, the creator. You've just created a video and you've turned on monetization on that video and you get paid for it. But that type of pay is predicated on views. So it's like how many views you get equals how much money you make. And obviously the more views you get, the more money you make. But that's a very unpredictable way to make your living, if you think about it, because it's also based on popularity. If you lose your popularity, which we all will at some point, that's how things go, there goes the only revenue stream you have. And so what you do is you hedge your bets against, for example, AdSense on YouTube by taking brand deals. And that would be a flat fee or whatever you negotiate with the brand, that they're paying you a rate to advertise their product that is not connected necessarily. There could be KPIs built into it. You put that ad in your video. Let's say the video flops, well, you still got paid for the brand, right? So that's like the sponsorship side of making money.
But isn't that also somewhat unpredictable? I mean, you never know what the demand or the supply is going to be like when it comes to brand deals.
True, and I would say that you need, I would say a huge part of a successful creator business at scale is, in my opinion, you need a strong operational team that can work with brands. I mean, right now, one of our biggest partnerships is with Wondery, and I have my main man, Nick Witters, sitting next to someone from Wondery, Alice Zhu. It's like that's a real relationship with one of our biggest partners. We did an overall deal with Amazon Music. Like that's a huge deal for us in terms of the relationship. You must maintain those relationships. It's not enough to just throw an ad into the middle of a video and get paid for it and think it's going to come back next time. Even if it performs, if you're kind of crappy to work with, they're not going to want to work with you again. So it's a matter of building relationships with brands that you've done deals with, making sure they perform, but then maintaining relationships above and beyond view count and CPM and all that. Like to scale a creator business, it's far more than just putting a good piece of content on the internet. So, and then in terms of making money beyond that, there's loads of things. You can scale up, or you can write a book, you can do speaking fees, there's a whole bunch of other ways to make money, but the main one is AdSense and sponsorship deals.
Absolutely.
I wanted to add something else, because I know there's a lot of ways that we as individual creators have to kind of work around the volatility of being a content creator. But I think that there's also a point of like advocacy on behalf of the brands. I think there's a lot of questions around what brands and even the government can do to protect creators, because we're one of the few industries, like we're not unionized. There's no sort of minimum wage for what we do. There's some laws in maybe California that protect us with our agencies and our reps for what percentage they can take from us. But largely creators are very unprotected. And there's a lot of talks around like creators like unionizing or having some sort of like business counsel for that, because I think a lot of the onus is on the brands. I think they are very exploitative at some points. And I think there's a point of like advocacy that needs to be involved in like all of these discussions, because we can't just do it alone. It has to be a sort of understanding that we are driving so much conversation. We're bringing happiness to people. We're selling these products. We're bringing in GDPs, billions of dollars of revenue to each country that we live in. And we should be a core part of society that is treated just like any other job with protection.
Absolutely. McKenzi, do you think brands understand that? Do you think that they understand the value that creators really bring?
I do think some brands like understand. Do I think all brands understand? No, but I feel like this whole social media is still new for a lot of brands and everyone's still learning just as much as we're learning. But I can say like brands like Amazon Music, for sure. I know I'm so thankful for them. I recently went to Stagecoach with them and I wasn't only covered for, travels, but I also was paid on top and I had the best time like probably ever. I'm so thankful being a country lover and everything.
So that's helping other brands sell products, right? But Madi, I know, for example, you're launching a skincare brand. Is that correct?
Yes.
So how does having your own brand impact your relationship with the other brands that you work with?
I feel like the last year, brands have really slowed down on brand deals. And I don't know, it's kind of cool to be behind the scenes and do this all myself, which is really cool. I don't think it affects me working with other people in any way. But usually when you get a brand deal, they give you like a creative brief and they're like, oh, like we want you to do this and this and this. And if sometimes it just doesn't align. And like Avani was saying, like sometimes people just can't sell stuff. Mm-hmm. And I have definitely seen, like I used to dye my hair like a million colors. And the one brand deal that did the best for me was blue hair dye. I chopped my hair off, did it blue. It blew up all over the internet. And that was great. And then, if I try to go sell, I don't know, like shoes or something that I just don't wear ever, obviously no one's going to buy it. So with my skincare line, I think it is really authentic and it's probably going to do really well, fingers crossed, because I have been doing, get ready with me skincare videos and get unready with me and all of that for such a long time. So hopefully it's still really, really new, but hopefully that'll work out.
What about subscriptions? Are any of you working with subscriptions, making money that way?
So I've done subscriptions before with this platform called Brand Army. I don't do anything that's like inappropriate. Let me just mention that before I say go on with anything. But I've done subscriptions just for my audience to just like, get a closer look on the inside of my life. I know I've made a lot of money through that. So I can only talk good about it. And all I say is don't post something that you're when you get older, that if you look at it 10 years from now, then you're not gonna be like, oh, I wish I never posted that. Because no matter if it's something that only goes to your subscriptions or it goes public online, it'll always be out there forever. So.
And I think that, is evidence of this idea of core fans or true fans and their willingness to come directly to you to pay for access to exclusive content or more content. How has the relationship with your audiences developed over the past couple of years?
I don't think I ever necessarily set out to do, but has worked wonders in terms of building, community in fandom. So my origin story, if you will, is, the short version is I had tried my hand at creating content. This is like in late 2019. Just because it seemed like such a gold rush, frankly. Like all these people are just becoming these huge brands online from just like posting random videos, it seemed like. And I tried my hand at some things, really cringy stuff that I hopefully have eradicated from the internet, but they may still be out there, ranging from like dancing and auto-tune songs and the like. Anyways, I've always been a really passionate storyteller, and kind of on a whim, right at the start of the pandemic, I told a story about these hikers that went missing in the 1950s in Russia. It's called the Dyatlov Pass incident. It's fascinating. Basically, they get found, they're all deceased, and their bodies are radioactive, and it's a whole thing. There's pictures, it's wild. So I tell this story, and I was at this water park with my family in Pennsylvania, and I posted to TikTok. I got no followers. I left my phone in the room because I was going to be in a water park, didn't want to get it wet. I came back a few hours later and the phone was like unable to open because there were so many notifications popping up on my phone from this video. It had 5 million views. It launched this whole thing, me becoming the storyteller. But I never really set out to be like a creator. I definitely thought that the idea of posting social content was a great opportunity, but I never viewed myself as being anything other than like a middle-aged dad who just like was trying cringy content, you know? And it's like I landed on storytelling, which is this cool thing, but as you know, my subscribers have grown and the business has grown, I've just remained the same dude who wears a flannel and backwards hat and tells stories. Like, I'm not trying to be something I'm not, like from the beginning. And I think part of that comes with being a little bit older. You know, I'm almost 36. I started when I was 33. I was very aware of who I was. I wasn't trying to be something else. And as a result, I've been incredibly relatable to my audience from the beginning to now. And it's not an act. It's just I've been really intentional about being me. Like, I still read the comments. I still get in the comments and comment with people. I respond to direct messages. Like, frankly, it's probably like a waste of my time from an ROI perspective, but I want to be the same guy I was at the start. And as a result, now at scale, that's who I am to my fans. I'm the relatable dude in the flannel hat and back. Now I'm wearing like my con uniform that my stylist gave me, which is unrelatable. But the point is being relatable and authentic is the key to success in growing a community in your fans.
And it's that relatability to your audience that then, of course, brings brands to you, I would assume.
I think you'd said authenticity. Yeah. Authenticity it's not just a buzzword. That's how you sell. Mm-hmm. If you want to sell for a brand, do it authentically. Otherwise, you won't sell, at least not for a while.
And so thinking, more about brand sponsorships, brand partnerships, I'd love to go around the room and have each of you tell me one piece of advice you would give to brands as they're looking to work with creators. And we can start with you, Khalil.
My piece of advice is to present to the creator at the onset why you sought them out and why you think that they would be a good partner. I got this from a few different brands. Like, one was Lyft, another one was Adobe. And what they did is they had like a whole PowerPoint deck just saying, we love this video, we see the partnership going in this way. But of course, it gave me enough room to edit it a little bit. And with that, there was a lot of creative collaboration. So for example, with Adobe, I make content about, once again, like hidden history and sometimes like discrimination and civil rights. And what we did with them is we did a history of graffiti, because graffiti, which you can see all over the world, was started by this incarcerated young person in Philadelphia in the 1970s. So we tied it to the idea that anyone can be an artist and we should support all artists of all types. And that was only made possible because Adobe and I came together and they told me up front what they liked about my work and how they thought we could collaborate.
It's a true partnership collaboration. I love it.
Just to back up on that. I think brands should definitely allow more creative freedom, just like being collaborative, because I mean, you know what's best on your page and what performs the best. And sometimes I think brands want everything to be like, oh, text on screen, you have to list all the ingredients in this product. I'm not gonna sit there and watch like a 15 or to 60-second video and just like an ingredients list. Like, I wanna see it, how much you like it and if it really works. So I think, again, being authentic and giving your real opinion, if like it's a product review, and being collaborative, obviously, and just putting your input out there.
Definitely agree with what's been said. The authenticity piece is huge. I would say that from the brand's perspective, it's very important that you do not fall into the trap that Avani was talking about from years ago, where it was all about identifying who your creator was going to be based on, subscriber count or view count or like count. You need to look at other creators. You need to look at past campaigns they have done, somewhat independent of their size. You need to see, what are they actually doing? Are they making a real effort? Is it engaging content? Like, I can tell you that you've listened to an ad in your life, like take Geico, for example. People know Geico ads, because guess what? Someone did a really good job making those ads. It's obvious, right? But there's a host of ads that we don't even remember. I can't even think of them because they didn't matter. They weren't any good. And so it's like, the brands need to look for people that have either previously done a really engaging campaign in some way, and then they also need to talk to those people and trust them, the creator, to translate their brand into their audience's language. And so it's a trust part that's a little bit difficult to do up front, but brands need to trust the creators, and then frankly, the creators, their responsibility is to take those talking points, the sheet you get with all the points they want, and push back on things that are not gonna work. If you know it's gonna tank the ad, don't do it. It's gonna hurt both of you.
Yeah, I have turned down many brand deals based just on the email that I've received. If it doesn't feel like the brand really cares about working with me, then why would I try to build that relationship in the first place if they just want me to post? So I also know what my audience likes. So I won't do a brand deal for a car. If right? I won't do one for a car because I know that my following will not care about that. So it doesn't do the brand any good. They can go to someone else that would help them as well. I'm not just going to take it for the money. That doesn't make any sense to me. And then another thing is with brands, when they put in an email or say to you when you're doing a deal that you have complete creative freedom, and then you send your ad or your video to them and they change everything about it, that's when I want to pull out of the deal immediately, because I'm like, you can't say that I have the creative freedom, I sign everything, and then you turn it all around. You're like, actually, we want you to do this exact video. That's not fair whatsoever. But other than that, I mean, you can slowly see that they have gotten better at doing that. And like, I really love when they send like full PowerPoints. So I know everything about what's going to happen, other than like, here's this, we want you to do it, say yes or no. It just doesn't, it's not right to do it that way.
I completely agree with all of them. You got like working with the brand is all about creating a relationship. And I can only speak for myself, but I want to work with a brand like longevity wise. I don't love just doing the one-off deals. I want to work with a brand where we can continue growing, and just like there's like along the line, I know that they're going to be there. I can help them out. They can help me out. And I just think when it comes to creative freedom and guidelines, again, it's a relationship. And I think you could just piggyback off on each other and just like find a way to work out, especially if you both want to really create that relationship.
There are a lot of great pieces of advice in there. I heard collaboration, creative freedom, but many of you also brought up this idea that creators, or you as creators, understand your audience better than brands do. So I'd love to go back to kind of the business side of things. What tools and strategies are you using to understand your audience better and know what will resonate with them?
I know recently Instagram just released a feature called like the broadcast channel, which has been super, super helpful to me, because it's not like we're chatting back and forth, but I can put like polls and I can, send out links before. Like it's like basically like a little subscription thing, but you don't have to pay for it. And it's kind of like just like a little community. But I found that has really, really helped engagement wise, just having like super loyal fans and knowing what to post and what people are engaging with and what people like. That has been super, super helpful recently.
That's also really helpful for people that are like me, that I'm not like that anymore, but like 3 years ago when comments, I would read every single comment. I would just delete the bad ones but I'd still already see it. With the broadcast channel, you can put whatever you want there. They can, react to it. Or if you put a poll, you can see that way, but you don't have people responding to you in any way that they feel like they need to. And like, that's what, DMs are for and comments are for. They can say whatever they want there, but for a broadcast channel, when you're trying to figure out what to post and like what your audience likes, it's a perfect way to, get those ideas from them.
For me, I use my Snapchat to learn a lot about my audience and for them to learn a lot about me, because just in my Snap, other than like my subscription, I really let like everyone in. I post like 100 times a day. And not only is it good for like engagement, but also it's another source of income. And then just looking at my analytics from like different platforms on what videos my audience likes more, what times I should be posting more. I think just like really looking at the back end of all your platforms tells you what your audience does and does not like.
And do brands ask you for any of these insights on your audience?
Absolutely. I think
Yes,
that's the
everything.
first thing that they always ask, whether before you do the video, but especially after you do the brand deal, they always want to know like what your analytics were on the videos. But I will say for me, I think one thing brands need to learn is about whitelisting your posts, especially like on TikTok, because they're really getting down if they can tell like your video is a brand deal. I would say it's very important to pay the platform, which is what whitelisting is.
How about you, Khalil? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, so I think a lot of times brands want content to go viral organically, even when they put in a bunch of things that we have to cross off a list within the post, especially now with like the guidelines, at least in the United States, around like FTC. You have to put like hashtag ad, hashtag brand partner. You have to show it as a paid partnership on the platform. And when all of that happens, people do often just click away because they know they're getting an ad and they can just swipe their finger like literally like half an inch and get something else. So for that reason, I do agree. I think whitelisting is really important. And I think we as content creators, the best that we can do and guarantee a brand is great content. We can't guarantee performance beyond that because the algorithms are so volatile. So I think brands, as much as possible, should try to just add in into the contract the ability to get an ad code. So what happens is when we post, we generate a code, we give it to the brand, they pay the social platform, TikTok or Instagram, and it shows to like thousands, if not millions of more people. So I think that's a great way of doing it. And to answer the question that you had before that as well, I think one thing that I do, it's not a third-party tool, but it is outside of the platforms. Sometimes I meet creators who are mutuals with me, and I'll just like become friends with them. And because I talk to my friends about the same topics that I'm talking about on my social media, that's a great way of just sharpening my blade of like how to create content, how to think of ideas, and how to think of topics. Coming up with communities and creating communities as creators is a great way of just bettering your content.